Hello everybody, this is Louis from LoukProp and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with LoukProp. Now in the last episode, we have already talked about the HDB buying timeline process, and in this episode today, we'll be talking about the private property timeline, both resale and new launch. So let's get to it. So as per last episode, we will be assuming that you have already done the three major steps before you decide on a property purchase. Number one is your in-principle approval, your IPA, for your loan eligibility. Number two is that you have already done your financial planning process and know what is your most conservative and comfortable budget. Number three is that you have already done the search for your property and you know exactly what you're going to buy, right? So enough about this, let's get to the timeline proper. So the first one we'll be going through is the resale private property timeline because it's a little bit more straightforward than a new launch private property timeline, right? The first step, of course, is to find your ideal property and make an offer for the property. Once that offer has been accepted by the seller, right, you have to pay a 1% option fee in order to get the option to purchase or the OTP from the seller. Right? Once that is done, the seller cannot issue another OTP to any other buyer. Now the deadline of the exercise of the option is actually mutually agreed upon between the buyer and the seller. Usually as a standard, it should be 2 to 3 weeks from the OTP date. Now to exercise the option, buyer has to go down to the law firm and in front of the lawyer, you have to sign the option to purchase. Also, you'll have to pay 4% exercise fee, and once that is done, basically you have already confirmed the unit and exercised it. So the next payments you have to make are the stamp duties, basically the buyer stamp duties and the additional buyer stamp duties if applicable. Right? The deadline to pay them is within 2 weeks from the exercise date, and it is based on either the purchase price or the market value of the property, whichever is higher. So the completion date of the entire purchase would usually be 8 to 12 weeks from the exercise of the option. But at the completion date, you'll be making the final payments for the 20% rest of payment before the 75% loan kicks in. Now do take note, if the seller has an outstanding loan on the property, usually 8 weeks to completion would not be enough. So a safer timeline would be 10 to 12 weeks from the exercise date for the completion. So the entire timeline from the moment you buy a property to completion for resale condo is usually about 10 to 15 weeks. Now let's move on to the new launch condo timeline. Now let's talk about the new launch private property buying timeline. Now once you have selected your desired project and also selected your unit, to confirm the booking of this unit, you have to put down a 5% booking fee towards the developer, which you should be paying in either cash or check form. Now once you have already put down this 5%, the developer will issue you an option to purchase, or what we call an OTP. Now from this option to purchase date, they will have a 2 weeks deadline before they have to send you or your desired law firm the sale and purchase agreement. So from the moment your law firm receives the sale and purchase agreement, you will have a timeline of 3 weeks before you have to head down to the law firm to exercise the purchase by signing on the sale and purchase agreement. Now do take note, it would be a lot safer if your bank loan's letter of offer has been churned out already and you have signed it before heading down to exercise the purchase. So the next payments to be made after exercise are the stamp duty payments, whether it's BSD or ABSD. Now these payments have to be made within 2 weeks of the exercise date and can be made using CPF. If you don't have enough CPF, you can also pay by cash. The next payment after that will be the rest of down payment, 15%, and it can also be made using CPF if not enough by cash. And the deadline to make this 15% payment is actually 8 weeks from the OTP date. So out of this 80%, as we all know, the maximum loan you can take up to is 75% of the purchase price. What about the next 5%? So this 5% will actually be paid during the first stage of completion, which is usually the foundation stage. As you can see from the foundation stage, the developer will actually call for 10% payment. If 5% is being paid by you, as earlier mentioned, this 5% can be paid either with CPF or with cash. The next 5% will actually be paid by the bank. Now the bank will disperse 5% and that's when your installment would begin. Now at every stage of completion of the project, the bank will disperse a certain percentage of your loan out to the developer, and that's when your loan installments will increase accordingly. So we have just gone through the resale and the new launch private property buying timelines. And if you're still confused over the timelines or what kind of payments have to be made during this timeline, don't worry, you just have to drop us a DM, give us a call, and we'll go through a more customized and detailed explanation for you. So if this video has benefited you, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is Louis from LoukProp, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!